Okay. Looks like we are on. Oh, allow me to turn my volume on my own computer here. There we go. There we are. And I know everybody's still getting in here, and there's some people that are watching Jamie over at Boondock Builds, and that's great. Don't want to step on his. It's his birthday today. But we're going to start at 1 o'clock, so this is where we have to start. And okay, so I'm excuse me, I'm doing a few different things today. Sneezing. I got 3 bowls lined up, and hopefully we'll be able to get to all 3. A little bit. I'm in trouble with my charger on my phone going at the same time. Want to make sure that I'm keeping my phone charged up. All right, so we're going to be doing 3 different bowls today, and a couple of them are made out of cottonwood. And cottonwood's a very hard, stubborn piece of wood, but it has a real nice grain to it, and so hopefully it'll come out okay. It has a pretty hard bark that I'm hoping to keep the bark on so we can do a live, at least on one we can do a live edge, and on the other one probably it will not stay, we'll see. And then we got a third one, which is a small one, and we're going to be doing something a little different with that one. It's going to be a small bowl because it's on a glue up. But one of the problems that we have with this wood is it does have big gaping wormholes in it. And I'm hoping they're only here at the top. And if they are, that's fine. But if they're in the inside here, some other places, then we're going to have more trouble. So, you never know what you're getting into when you get into a piece of wood. That's very true of this sort of thing. And so we're going to start with this piece. I'm going to take this tailstock off of here because I don't think I'm going to need it, although it does kind of mark my center for me, but I don't need the tailstock right now. I'll put that away. Tailstocks are heavy. And I think the best approach here is to take and try and square or round up the outsides first. As you can see, it's like about a 1/2 inch away here, and here it comes right here, and it's almost right on it. So we got to take this corner down and get this kind of rounded out to right about in here. So this is going to have to come out. Some of this is going to have to come out. It's going to be a little bit of a process as we go through this. So, and welcome in, everybody. If you have anything to add to the comments section, please do that. I see that I got Timmons in here. Hi, Tim and Kuman. You're terrible with names. Actually, it's Jeff, but you can call me 2 minutes or whatever. But if you'd like, this is going to be kind of an interesting entrance, I think, on this one, because it's like I said, it's a tough piece of wood. So I'm going to just get right into it. Let me sorry, wanting to adjust my sound. I hope you can hear me okay there. Okay, it's cleared. All right. I'll get some speed going on this. Okay. We're going to come over and we're going to take out. Oh, there we go. Wanted to make sure that was still loose. Always make sure everything's tight before you start it up. Okay. There we go. This is the quickest and best method to round out your bowl. Go back and get that. Okay, so that's just 2 times through. We've already got it pretty well done here. Hey, Mr. Wilson. Good to see you. I know you'll be in and out a little bit. It's got Jamie's on the other line, so to speak. Okay, so let's move in a little bit, see if we can get a little more circling there. Oops. Now that is the most efficient method of getting around to squaring something up is start from the bottom. That way you're cutting into the wood. Keep the bottom down, keep this angle up. I'll see if I can get you a little bit closer here for this. Okay. So you keep the tail down, the angle up, and then at angles. Keep the bevel right here. And you enter in, and you're undercutting it. And see, that's much better than trying to do this. If you're doing this, you're getting banged all the time, and you're not going to get a real nice even cut. Now that I've rounded it out some, it's a little bit simpler, but you get a lot of that. Okay? By doing the method from coming up from the bottom, you get a much crisper and quicker rounding. Oops. Okay, and we are round. So 4 or 5 times, depending on the thickness or the amount it's out of line and the hardness of the wood, 4 or 5 times usually does it. I'm gonna move my tailstock, my rest up here just a little bit. Okay. Now you can kind of come back and use your gouge as a scraper and do a scraping cut. You see the nice light stuff you get off of there. And you've removed an awful lot of the tool marks. You still got some, but a lot of the tool marks are already off of there. And that's without even switching tools. So if I went to the skew, sorry, if I go to the skew here, and see if I can do that. see where I'm at now. Just a little bit, tiny bit right there. Other than that, I think I've got a pretty good. In fact, it's almost shining already without even doing anything. I'll go through with a bull nose scraper here just to kind of clean that up a bit. It picks up any little imperfections in the circlets. All right. See where we're at now. Yeah, that'll just sand out right there. Got rid of most all the tool marks. Good. So we already got that. Now this is somewhat wet wood. In fact, kind of curious. Let's see what our meter says. Meter says 18%. So it's still very wet wood. So that means that it will, after it's turned, it will probably warp just a little bit unless I microwave it or something to do some of the drying process. So it's a possibility this will not stay in its permanent place. So Jeff, question I have you ever worked with or turned true stone? No, I have not. I've never turned true stone at all. No, I've turned a lot of acrylics and a lot of other man-made pieces, but I've never turned true stone. I think I may have even tried to turn marble one time, but that's really not good on your tools. So I kind of avoid doing that. I take it you have some that you'd like to turn. All right. That helps a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can get out of my way. See if we can kind of make sure we clean up the back. The bottom is looks very flat already. I don't think it's going to need a whole lot. Obviously, I need to lower my tool rest some right there. So you won't need to do much to that. It is, yeah, it's pretty flat. I'll just take my flat skew. Clean it up. Just a hair more. There we go. Now, something we can choose to do here, because it does have a little bit of tear out right here, and it is a little wet. What we could do is make a little foot and then do a miter inside that. So I think what I might try to do here first is I might try to make my miter for my tenon. Yeah. here. See if I'm getting the right size there. You know, I have a turning friend who has a block that's permanently turned to the right size. So he just holds the block up to it. I kind of tend to take my chuck up to it, but you can just take and make a block of wood just the right size, and if it fits in there, you know you get the tenon set. It's perfectly valid and easy way to set yourself up. Okay. Okay. I think I'll clean that up, but I just want to make sure I got my size here. Like right there. Okay. Just a little bit more. Boy, some days I'm right on it, and other days I just, for some reason, don't have the touch. Okay. See how that goes. Yep, that's just right in there. Okay, just a little tight. I'll just clean up the edges, and we'll go from there. I'm not liking the way that's sitting, so yeah, well, some days you just have to argue with your tools a little bit, you know? There we go. Make it nice and clean. All the way up to here. Clean those out. Make that a nice transition. Get rid of that little nib in the middle. And then we'll do a little, if I can. And see if we can create a little foot. You got to get all that cleaned off. It is really hard wood. Trying to get a good foot on here is something of a job. There we go. I think I got my foot now. I think I can clean this off. Make it a little bit straight, tighter. Clean that off. And see where we're at. Yeah, a little rough. Like I said, this gets tear out. I'm not sure if I can. Not sure if I can refine that enough. Right here. I'm getting tear out, tear out, tear out to right about there. And then it comes back around to this side tear out right there. So, yeah, I'm learning about the wood as we go. It's all kind of education of the wood before we get into turning the inside. And I think the inside's going to be pretty tough based on what I'm finding out right here. Okay. Let's see. From there, I think I can sand it. No, I don't like that. I don't want to have tear out inside the tenon because then it won't be evenly held. It's got to be nice and clean on the bottom. Okay, there we go. All right, so I can probably sand the rest of that out. Now we look at the shape. Let me look up here and see what you guys are writing. I'm sorry, I've kind of been. Thanks for doing some PPE. Oh, you dropped your video died. Died instantly. They don't necessarily die. Sometimes it takes a day. I've had some of my videos, my shorts especially, go on, and then all of a sudden it gets picked up, and it'll jump like 13,000 views all at once. So don't give up on a video yet. Maybe change some of the things in the description or something that maybe grabs a little more attention. That does help. The words that you choose in the hashtag section at the top make a big difference. So you see some of the ones that I have here. Those seem to work, saying lathe and wood turning, those things. But I change them up from time to time. Like if I'm making a gift, I make sure I put in the word gift. That seems to carry some weight too. So what's cooking, Tomislav? Is Tomislav? Ah. We are doing cottonwood. And it's a very, very hard wood, and it's got some wormholes in it. So we're waiting to see what's going to be on the inside once I get the outside kind of perfected here. I think I've got most of the outside ready for sanding at this point. There's some tear out, which I can deal with, and it's also got some nice red coloring in here. So it's going to be an interesting piece if I can get it to turn properly. But it's rather straight, and I'm thinking about what do I want to do to make this a little more interesting. So I may kind of come in on it like something like this. Let's see. Whoop. Don't like that. Don't want my tool rest moving. There we go. Okay. We can get that. And then what if we do another one right here? Just to give it a little bit of contrast. And see, I'm getting right into that wormhole right there. So I think I'll bring this one up a little bit more. think I'll bring this one in that's a little bit deeper. And I got rid of most of that wormhole there. And then I can kind of clean up this top a little bit. Okay. I think that does. I want to do a little bit of a cleanup here. Like so. And the corner this way. All right. I think I can do the rest there with a little sanding. Let's see if we can do a little sanding on this. This is just kind of, I just do like a little preliminary sanding. Take off some of the burrs here. Get a little bit of a curve here. Get that cleaned up. And get this cleaned up. Yeah, I know I can use a skew. I know I can use a skew, but this wood is not very forgiving. And I want to make sure I get around these wormholes. There we go. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, I tried doing a peel cut with that, but it's just not quite the wood for it, I think. At least not to my skill level, it isn't. This wood is just a lot of little end pieces here. There we go. That should take care of all that. Good. All right. Let me get just I'm just gonna go up just a little finish sand for now, just to kind of make sure I got all the little pieces off. And like I said, this is pretty wet wood, about 18% from what we could see. So it's not going to suck in a lot of finish, but it will suck in a little bit. And we'll still be able to do a live edge on the top here, I think. Okay. So I'm just going to grab a little finish just so we can kind of see the colors that come out on this one. A little tung oil. I'm going to have to make some more of that pretty soon. but it'll make this pop just a little bit. And you'll be able to see the colors that I'm hoping will come out in the final piece. Cottonwood is very unusual, and it has a lot of different colors to the wood. And this one has a lot of movement to it also. So as straight as it is in some ways, it's also got a lot of curve to it. So we're going to see a little bit of both. But you can kind of get the idea here. What it's going to look like. And I'll move the camera here in a second so you can see more of it. There we go. Just want to get a little of that on there. Kind of shows any imperfections that we have. And I'll turn this for you so you can see a little bit better. So here's the red. Some more red in here. So it's going to be a pretty piece of wood, I think, when it's all done. Look, it's already sucked in and dry here with an end grain. So it kind of gives me an idea of where the end grain is working. Even some of this wood is that I've shaved off. You can see the red in it. Okay. There we go. Nice and smooth. Okay. Now we can go to the inside. There we go. All right, we'll get the space here. Get the drill. Hold on to those screws pretty good. All right, there we go. One down. Get the chuck up here. At the end. Let's see how true it's running. Oh yeah, that's running really good. Running very true. Okay, good. Again, we don't want to over tighten, create stress on it. Now, I have this unusual top here. And I got the bark right here, and I'm not sure that the bark is going to be able to be saved all the way around on this. So what do you guys think? How do you think I should approach this? And hello to everybody. I welcome in, by the way. I get a chance to say hi to everybody. Hey, two dudes. Hey, Timba. And just so you know, I just started. I just got approval of actually a membership in the channel. I did this only because I thought it'd be nice to reward some of the people that are here regularly. And if you'd like to become a member, it's not much. It's 99 cents. That's all it is. I put it the lowest rate they allow me to put it. So I put a membership setting of 99 cents, and we will have a couple of members only turnings and community chats and so forth that we'll do from time to time during the month. So that you get a chance to interact a little bit more. And so if you want to do that, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. Also, there's no requirement as far as I'm concerned. I just thought I'd put it out there to see if there's any interest, or if people were interested, wanting to do something like that. And if they're not, that's perfectly fine too. I'm pretty easy. So it does kind of help defray some of my costs a little bit, but not much. I mean, YouTube obviously doesn't defray your costs. It's not free to do this. You have to get your own wood. You have to do your own everything, and the compensation is minimal at best. So well, we got our first one. Hey, thanks, Vincent. Uh, uh, yeah, I know. I remember when I was 68, and you're right. That is a time when you start to not want to do some things and pay other people to do it instead. In fact, I'm in the process of talking to a landscape designer because I don't want to have to go through the process of redoing my landscaping, and I'm perfectly willing to pay for it because it'll probably be done 5 times faster than if I did it. It'll certainly be done probably better than if I did it myself. And the thought of having to bend over all the time at my age, um, well, I'll just show you. When you get to a certain age, these things become really, really handy in your life. These things. And when I spill stuff or pick stuff up, I go, oh, there's that piece of wood that came flying off, and I don't have to bend over to go get it. So, just as a thing, this is something when you get to a certain age, these things become rather helpful. So, just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to try and establish an edge here. And it honestly doesn't look like I'm going to be able to keep that. I know I'm going really slow right now, but I just wanted to kind of feel it out. I think I'm a bit better off if I just go ahead and take that off. So. Establish a new edge. Okay. Now we can spin that up a little bit. Okay, let me get a visual on that. Yeah, we have this downturn here, and I don't want to necessarily miss all of that, so. We'll kind of go like so. Ooh, okay. Fix that. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to find some little wormholes in here as I go. And I've kind of got a couple little spots, little soft spots, but not too bad. And hopefully I'm getting that past that little dip on the side. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting right there. Okay, I'm getting past the dip on the side now. Nothing you're scared of, just do what you usually do and remember to check the screen once in a while. Yeah, well. Yeah. Doing lives is a challenge. It really is. You are your own cameraman, you are the commentator. You actually have to have in mind what you're going to do. And in my case, I make sure that I have backup in case a project is not going well. I have other projects we can switch to. And I've had to do that a couple times. Because you don't want to have a bunch of people in here and nobody commenting or doing anything. Speaking of which, we'd appreciate if you guys would hit the like button. We had like 300 in here a couple minutes ago. Now I have 47 likes, I see. So if you can please hit the like button, that would be really appreciated. Or subscribe, or become a member for that matter. It's all up to you. Any of those things. I'm going to pull back just a little bit. There we go. Like I said, being a cameraman, you kind of have to be careful of everything that's going on at the same time. I don't like putting that much pressure on the outside if I can avoid it. One of the advantages of turning wet wood or semi-wet wood is that you do get these nice curls. The downside, of course, is that when you're done with it, it may not keep its same shape. It may decide to warp and move on you. Which is why I kind of chose to do this bowl with a little bit of an outside shape to it, and then come relatively thin on the inside. I do have to be really careful with that, but they were saying relatively thin because I don't want to get too much thinner here, or I'm going to be hitting that. But as we go out this way, we will be getting a little bit fatter on the inside, so we have to make sure that we follow the contours of the outside of the bowl as we go. I was talking to a friend this morning, and we were reminiscing a little bit, and we were talking about the group Three Dog Night. Does anybody remember the group Three Dog Night? Three Dog Night was a very famous pop and rock band in the early 70s mostly. Had probably 15 top 10 hits, and they had three lead singers with a really good backing band as part of the group. Anyway, I had tickets that I'd won to go see them in concert, and they had to cancel the concert because of illness or probably something to do with drugs, who knows. But anyway, so I was not able to go see them, and I cashed in the tickets. And in those days, you could take the money from a concert ticket, and I went and bought tickets to a San Diego State football game that weekend, which was a very hot ticket in those days. And I was able to go to a San Diego Charger game the next day, all on the money from the tickets, because I think the tickets were like $30, which in 1970s money was quite a bit of money. But it didn't cost much to go to a football game in those days. Now, if you try and go to the LA Chargers game, it'll cost you over $1,000, including parking, which I understand is in the hundreds of dollars for parking at SoFi Stadium. They've basically taken the average guy out of sports. They don't want them there. They don't want them at the NBA games. And if you do find a good ticket to an NBA game, half the time the players aren't playing because they're taking their day off. It's just not quite the same. Any of you have a similar experience like that? Oh, hey, Boondocks. Welcome in. I hope your live went well, and happy birthday. Of course, we know the real birthday is coming up shortly when the baby gets here. Then we'll probably never talk about your birthday again. Yeah, $20 a beer. Yeah, that's cheap beer. That must be the Milwaukee's best beer or something. That's not the good stuff, right? You're not getting a Dos Equis for $20, are you? And $20 is about the price of a Dodger dog now at the Dodger Stadium, if you can get them. Wouldn't be surprised if the state of California came in and said, "No, you can't sell hot dogs at stadiums anymore. They're not healthy." And they add to the methane in the air, so you're ruining the air quality by letting people eat hot dogs and beans. You know, that's about where Newsom would go with the air quality thing. But I'm not here to talk politics. It's just sometimes you get tired of living in California and being told what to do every 5 minutes, and then letting them tell you that, look how free you are here. You're not free much at all in California. Well, I'm getting down into the bowl pretty good, but it's kind of getting hard to see what I'm doing here, so I'm going to have to clean that out. I got to make sure that I'm staying true to the wall here, and I'm not letting this hump on me, but I'm right about there. I'm right about here, so I don't have too much further to go in here. So let me get this cleaned out. It's still pretty quickly so far, considering how hard it is. Okay, I'm going to have to go in here with a scraper now because I can't be too aggressive with the gouge anymore. I want to get in here and kind of do as best I can with it. What's this? Jamie probably gonna do my first live. Oh, great! Are you gonna do it around noon? What day? What day, Vincent? Let us all know. Go ahead and put your channel up there so we can all see what it is. It'd be great to see. We'll all try and be there. Feel free to let us know. See, I think I got most of that clean. This is mostly clean. I gotta come out. I think I gotta come out just a little bit more in there. Let's see if I can do that with this one. Let's see. Let's see how that looks now. Still right about there, so I've got a little bit of more room. Well, yeah, on the side just a little bit more. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Yeah. I think we can go just a little bit more. And again, of course, this is going to warp a little bit. The old idea was that you would like half turn it, let it warp, put it back on and turn it again. I like to turn it once if I can, put it in a position where the warp won't matter. And I think in this case that warp won't matter much. You won't see it much because of the way this top is anyway. And I don't think you're going to see it on the bottom either. There's a little bit of the pith right here, and that's where it could crack, and it's a little thicker there, so I don't think I'll have that problem. If I put this in the microwave and microwave it in a bag so that it kind of steams itself, it should be just fine. So that's what we're looking at here. Okay, so that's the plan, and we'll see how that plan bears out. Okay, let me get a vacuum and just kind of vacuum that out a bit so that it's easy to see what we're doing. Okay. All right. I'm going to give this a little sanding on the inside. And we're going to be able to move on to bowl number 2 here pretty soon. I guess I should turn my dust collector on. Move that out a little bit. Then we'll put it in reverse. Same thing. That's feeling good. We'll go to another grit. Take that down a little bit more. And then we will go forward again. Keep the speed up a little more. Okay. There we go. That's looking real good now. All right, let's go over. I'll vacuum this out one more time, just to make sure I don't get any of that on there when I'm smooth finish on. All right. That's that. Let me take my helmet off for just a minute. You can hear me a little better. Got a little bitty pocket on this coat, and of course it gets filled with sawdust. I don't know how the sawdust finds its way in there sometimes, you know. Again, please hit the like button and subscribe if you can, or at least hit the like button if nothing else. And really appreciate it. Okay. Alrighty. Get in there. Come on out here a little bit. There we go. Now we're getting a little saturation in there. Okay, we're going to do another coat on the outside. There, and you can kind of see where we're going with this. I'll take it off the chuck here in just a minute, and you can see what it looks like. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to soak in for just a minute, I'll show you what we finished the other day. These were this was our Super Bowl Sunday work. And Super Bowl Sunday, we turned this redwood platter, or I'm sorry, this redwood bowl. I'll get that out here. And this came out really nice. Okay. But more important, we did this platter out of 3/4 inch piece of tabletop. And it came out like this. We put the other piece underneath, and we went down in, so we created an area for the dip. So you can put your chips and dip on here. And then I put a Lazy Susan piece on the bottom here. So now you can serve with Lazy Susan. And this was just from a piece of a tabletop that was thrown away, and it was only 3/4 inch thick when we started. As you can see, it's not much thicker now. And the piece on the bottom, and that's all we used to make the bowl. And yeah, now it'll hold dip and chips and or veggies or whatever you want. And that thing that came out really good is our little Super Bowl project. And a couple weeks ago, we were doing this cork oak, and thought I'd show you how that came out. Now it's now dried some more, and I love the bottom here, the way it splays out. But left the cork in, went down through the center of the wood, like right through the limb, basically. And there you have the bowl. And I think this came out really nice. know what you guys think, but I think that came out nice, and that's going to be for sale pretty soon at my at an upcoming event we have. And so now that this has had a chance to dry out just a little bit, and I'll kind of wipe out a little bit of the inside. There we go. And maybe just a little bit of the outside. Okay. Let's take this off of here and show you what it looks like up close. So there's the bowl. There's the outside of it. Has the nice red colors here and on the inside too. I think it's a nice little offset bowl. That should do well somewhere. So I'm going to let that set to dry for a little while. We'll get into the microwave here in a couple days and do some of that. And here's my next one. This one is going to be oak because I want to switch to oak. We'll go back to the cottonwood later. Okay. Now on this one, it's going to be a little bit harder to make the tenon on here because it's already pretty offset. Okay. So we're going to have to flatten this out and get a tenon on it, and no guarantees. So we'll get started on that. Any questions or anything before I get started on this? If you have any questions, shoot it up now. There we go. Okay, well, I think I probably should sharpen before I start this one. We did that whole bowl without sharpening, which is pretty good. That means it's really good steel on this. This is going to need a little touch up, not much. Okay. That should do it. Let me get my helmet back on here, and we'll get commencing on another bowl. Okay. Now this is going to be we're going to have to come from this direction. Okay. Now I can come in a little bit more, a little bit closer. Be able to come down just a little bit here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go to the rounding here. Now that I've got this a little bit, I can see a little bit of how I'm going to do the angles. I want to get this rounded out here before I go too much further. Yeah, and you can see that's quite a lot of ribbons right there. I think we pretty much, little flat spot there, pretty much got that all rounded off in that one turn. Going to clean it up here a little bit. There we go. Nice, nice, nice now. Okay, now we can go back to this. Right there. Okay. All right. That'll work. That'll work now. Now I can just kind of ease this off a little bit and then make my tenon. So get this off a little. Okay. Up there. So if I make a little indentation right about here. A little bit. There we go. Maybe we'll clean that off. Okay. Now, make my tenon inside here, right about here. See if that works. Huh. Well, I'm not completely closed in yet. So, yeah, I think that does. Yep, that fits in there. Okay. I didn't think my eyes were that far off. Okay. Now let's clean this off. Okay. Okay, that can be fine. It's got some nice marbling kind of look to it. That should be good on the inside there. Okay. And I think we got the outside enough too, just with the tools. So the tools alone did enough. And we can just go right to sanding here. Okay, Tim. Hey, take care. Appreciate you being in here. Go back when you're done. We may still be turning. Guess I should. I always forget to turn my dust collector on. And I know I need it. Go to the next one here. This is hard. This is really hard oak. So if you're just going to really keep its shape, it's going to look pretty nice, I think. It'll be a much smaller bowl, but it's going to be, I think, really sharp looking. I'm going to go to a 400 grit here just for a moment, just to kind of polish that up. Okay. That feels like a rock, but it does. It feels like a shiny rock. And I think you have to be really careful with that, yeah? Because it is shiny. It is a shiny rock. Okay. This time I'm not going to use the tongue oil. I'm just going to use a little feeding wax, because I think that's all it needs. Take my mask off again so I don't have to be talking through it. Okay. Gonna have to get down to the store and get some more of this. No, didn't want to do that. Here, you already see it's a very pretty piece of olive. I mean, of oak. Turned very nicely. And this is what hard oak will do. See that? I'll get you in for a little bit closer look on that grain. Yeah, pretty interesting grain. Okay, so we've treated the outside for a minute. Got that all going. Let me get this off of here. And we'll take the drill to this and get these off. One, two. Is anybody watching the Olympics? I know there's been a lot of. I was watching the downhill and the alpine skiing and all that. I find that fascinating. Somebody will go down a hill at 80 or 90 miles an hour, or the moguls where their knees are going up and down, up and down, and up and down, like 100 times a minute, like shock absorbers. Makes my knees hurt just watching them. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of the effect it has on me. Okay, let's see how we're spinning here. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so far our tenons have been pretty solid today. And I don't want to jinx it by saying something, but so far so good. Okay, so that's going to be the next piece. Allow me to get a little drink here for a second. Okay. And catch up on what's going on here. Hey, Johnny. Hey, so how you doing, Jim? And so goodbye, Tim. Hello, Jim. Hello, Johnny. Hi, Cesare. So already finished one. For those of you that didn't see that earlier, I'll show you real quick what we did earlier. What we did a few minutes ago, actually. This was a piece of cottonwood. Love this red in here. And it's still drying right now, but you can see it's a pretty nice piece. And so we're going to do finish this piece of oak, and then we got another piece of cottonwood on here that's going to be interesting, to say the least. That's all I can say right now. It's going to be interesting, and we'll see. We'll see who survives, me or the wood. So let's see. Keep this one, and here we go. Speed up a little bit. Okay, kind of establish an outside for the moment. Well, that came off nice. I think I need to lower this just ever so small. There we go. By the way, I haven't mentioned, but I haven't seen much from LJ Farm in the last couple weeks. Has anybody followed LJ or find out what's going on with him? Been kind of quiet. Just thought I'd throw that out there, see if anybody knows anything. Thursdays used to be my day to catch up with Phil Anderson at Shady Acres. And if you've never gone to the Shady Acres website, he's no longer producing videos due to health conditions. But if you want to see some really good turning of wood that you don't never know what's going to come out of it, he's a good one to watch. He gives you a lot of detail. But check out Shady Acres. And while you're at it, check out some of my friends here. I have most of them in the description down here, but there's 77 Rockets woodworking. I'm sorry, 77 Rockets woodworking. There's the Whacking Shack right here on my thing. Mike does a fun day every Sunday, and he usually does a couple others whenever he can. And Soldier Farms here. He's been putting out a lot of video lately. Jamie at Boondock Builds just had a live on a little while ago. He's working on the house and actually working on about 15 different things at once, and also doing some wood turning with one of his sponsors, Got Wood. I do not have any sponsors. My sponsor is go out and find the wood yourself. Sponsor. So I source all my own wood unless I can get it from another or something like that. And but I do have a membership now. So if any of you want to become a member, I did set up the members. I set it up. It's one membership cost for everything. It's 99 cents. It's the lowest they'll let me go to set up a membership. But I wanted to do something for those people that have been subscribers and following me for a long period of time. I want to kind of give them some sort of reward. So if you become a member, you can. We'll be having a few lives that we do just with us, and maybe have a few live chats and so forth where we just kind of shoot the you know what. So if that's of any interest to you, feel free to join as a member. And it's not even the cost of a cup of coffee. In fact, it's not even the cost of the granules for a cup of coffee. It's 99 cents. It's cheap. Like I said, it's as cheap as we'll let it go. YouTube won't let me do it for any less. So if you can do it, and if you want to do it, that's great. If you don't, no harm, no foul. Like I said, if anything, it just helps me to pay a little bit of the cost of doing all these turnings. I'm turning about 12 to 15 bowls a month. For you guys. And that does kind of deplete my supply of wood available because I'm in California. I'm not in a place where they have forests that you can actually use. I'm in a place where they have forests that you're not allowed to touch. California doesn't want anybody cutting trees down, even if it would help stop forest fires. They won't let you do managed cuts as much as they used to. But I'm sure a governor who's never even held an axe or cut anything in his life knows more about all this stuff than we do, right? And I do have to be careful here. I don't want to get too low, but I think I got a little bit more room. Okay. Now I think I'm getting down to where I need to do a little bottom feeding on here. We'll try this, see if this works. As a bottom feeder. Let's see how that did. Might need to try and straighten this up just a touch. Okay, let's see how it does. Okay. I think I am right there. I think, I'm just not happy with that not being deep enough. I think I want to go deeper. I'm not sure if I can do it. You don't want to be too deep, but you want to be deep enough. Well, I'm hitting the, sounds like I'm hitting some really good oak there. Wanting to cut right there. All right, well, let's clean up the walls on the side. much smoother that got. Yeah, that got that out of there. Okay, good. I can just work on going a little bit deeper on there. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. When you sometimes you just have to get in there and do a little bit more because you just don't like where it's at. So it looks like I've lost a few people, but hi David. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Yes. I haven't seen yeah, LJ. I haven't either. Or Joseph the Carpenter either. Yeah, that's true. I didn't mention that. If you came from Kentucky, I'm sure you would find some trees that cut down. And I've got so yeah. Well, I do occasionally find some urban trees that can be cut down, but boy, you have to be careful with that too. Hey, Mike, I see you're home for the evening. I hope you're doing well. Has everybody got plans for Valentine's Day with their significant others? We're going to go to a morning breakfast, I think, or breakfast or brunch. I'm not sure which, but probably breakfast to avoid some of the rest of the crowd. What about the rest of you? Okay, well, now that I've got this cleaned out, this was pretty hard oak, I gotta say. Let me just very lightly sand inside because it really doesn't need much. It truly sands itself pretty much. So this was verse. Okay. Go to this one. Okay. I think that does it. You're going out later. Let's see. No significant other that, yeah, well, maybe some insignificant other you can go out with. Who knows? Find somebody else sitting by themselves. Sounds like they might be having a bad Valentine's Day. Maybe you can make it better. I've heard of worse ideas. Just don't be creepy about it. But you could make up a good pickup line out of it if you worked at it. So let's see. It says we're going to go out later because my wife is meeting with her friend who is newly divorced, trying to be supportive. Yeah, introduce her to David. maybe you guys can make it a double. Let's see if we can get that polished up just a little bit more. This is feed and wax, which is basically bee wax and a little bit of orange. Because this doesn't really need to be hardened with anything like a tung oil. And it's food safe to a point. I always tell people if they wipe something down with mineral oil, if it's assuming it's a food safe wood to begin with, which oak generally is, if you wipe it down with a little mineral oil, you should be just fine. Okay, let's take this off of here and share a little. Let you guys see what we got here. So there's the bowl. Has a lot of character in the wood. I think that'll make a nice small bowl for somebody. Probably $10. You know, I usually put these out for about $10. Sometimes 15, depending on the quality of the wood or the group that's shopping. If they look like they can handle 15, I'll do 15. But usually this is about a $10 piece. And it came up pretty nice, and it really didn't take too long to do. So that's number 2 in our count. Now we're going to go to number 3. And this is number 3. And it is a piece of cottonwood also. Based on what I saw with the bark on the other one, this has a pretty deep bark. As you can see, the bark goes all the way down to here, and if I wanted to, I could have just made this the bottom and made this the top. But I want to go the other way. I want to do this and see if we can save some of this in the bark. So this is a real challenge because you're kind of going opposite what the wood would normally tell you to do. Okay. So we'll probably start by rounding this out. Yep. It is not round. There we go. So we will start by rounding this wood out. And we'll see what we can do with it. Okay. So bear with me. If we keep hitting that like button, we're at the 95. I'd like to at least get to 100. You know, if we're going to be on this long, quite a few people in here. Please hit the like button and get us to 100. Become a subscriber if you haven't subscribed, and if you'd like to be a member, there's memberships there for 99 cents. So see how quickly you can make this into by doing that method. Okay. And we are basically round. I just go back and clean up this little piece right here. Okay. Yeah. So twice through, and then a little bit of touch up, and we have a round outside. Also lost. So gotta be careful of that. Okay. Let's see now. Well, let me kind of clean that up a little bit. All right. Little scraper cut with the gouge. And look at that. Almost no tool marks or anything. Okay, now we go to the bottom, which is pretty flat. We just want to kind of go in there and clean it up a little. Freeze my a little bit. There we go. Okay. That is dead flat. Okay. So now it's just a matter of cleaning this up, dealing with this a little bit. And I think I'm just going to make a simple, I'm not going to make a foot on this one. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will make a foot on this one because I can take care of this at the same time. So, let's see. see how that goes. Okay, I'm going to clean that off. Okay. In here, clean that out. Make sure that transitions nicely. Okay. All right, so we got a nice small foot, just a little bit, just kind of an indication. And then what we'll do is we'll do the tenon here. Okay. Just a hair more. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. That should fit in there. Yep, that fits in there. Okay. Clean that up just a tiny bit there, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. All right. There we go. That's nice and clean. All right. Should be able to sand that down now and be ready to go. So if you guys have seen the other one I did, I like to get in there and give it a quick sanding. You don't want to really make any tool marks on here or anything. You just want to kind of softly sand the wood. It does have a little bit of a bit of hair out there. It just doesn't want to come off. This cottonwood tends to have a lot of hair out in it. And so far, the bark has stayed on for the most part, and that's good news. All right. Do this one. And again, I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit. I do it if I have any bark left, I'll use my bark sander at the end to get that. I'm not too worried about that right now. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and I'm going to put, let's see. I think we'll use tried and true this time. I'm using some different ones. Make sure it's mixed well. You don't mix it well, it doesn't spread well. Boy, it sucked it right in too. Even though this is pretty green wood, it sucked that oil and wax right in. Which kind of gives you some indication that it will take a finish. All right, this right here. And this will get in there and harden the wood just a little bit too, strengthen the wood up just a little bit. So that's why I like to do it before we turn it around, because it does get in there and harden the wood, and also shows you any place where maybe you've missed something where you probably should go back and get it with the tools just a little bit more before you finish. Putting on this putting on a little bit of finish kind of highlights any little errors you have in your wood, in your wood turning, I should say. Getting it in those little corners are not easy either. Here we go. Here we are. All right. Good. All right. It's getting in there. I'll give that a little spin. Before we turn it around. Doing about 1,555 RPM. There. We even brought out a little red in the wood like we had before. So that helps. Okay. Okay, bending over isn't what it's plain enough to be. Okay. Get my tools put back away. We can go on the inside of this one. Oh, good. We hit 100. That's perfect. And for those of you that are in here, again, if you have not subscribed, please consider doing that or becoming a member. And if you're subscribed, you will be notified when we're doing lives. And if you're a member, you'll be getting some exclusive lives and so forth that we do from time to time. And no obligation on your part. Just thought I'd mention it's 99 cents to be a member. Not a considerable amount of money. And here. Take these out. Oops. Oh, that's a I had one Phillips head in there for some reason, so I better get my Phillips head screw for that. There. Got those three. Let me get my other bit. Hope I didn't ruin the. Come on. There we go. I knew I could get it out of there if I tried. Now that one's going to the trash anyway. So sometimes you have to use your persuader a little bit. Get those to work. Okay. So now we get this chuck on here. And we'll tighten this up. See how it's turning. It's a little wonky. See if I can straighten that out just a little bit. I think I can live with that, but I'll give it one more try. There we are. Okay. Tight. Tight. Don't over tighten. Bring this up. And we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, now the choice is how can I keep this bark on even though it's really deep, and I'm afraid that this may just come flying off. So I will approach it delicately. No guarantees. Yeah, let's see how it came out. So far, so good, but I'm not in enough yet, so I'm gonna have to come back and come out here some more. Okay, so far so good. I know I'm going to have to come out a little bit further on it, but let me see what I can do squeezing this out first. We're still not quite into the wood itself. It's sort of in the Cambria layer underneath. Okay. I think we're down into the wood now. All right. So we've now gotten below this, and it's still on there. Barely, but it's still on there. And I'm going to try and, it's probably going to come off. Nothing I can do about that. Okay. Now, yeah, I did lose a little of that. But I still got a lot of bark, so it'll still have a live edge, I think. I think I can finesse it from here. I think I'm going to have to sharpen my gouge here again. Yeah, I'm going to have to sharpen this. So give me just a second here, guys. You're watching on TV and editing. Okay, well, that's fine. You can do both at once. That's fine with me. Yeah, smack the like button or double tap the screen if you can. If you're on a TV, you really can't do much of anything, I think, except to watch. You can't really like it, which is too bad. They ought to give you a way of doing that. Because there's a certain number of people that do watch on screens, including my father-in-law. Bless his heart, at 90 years old, he watches my videos. And then knows more about working with angles and sheet metal and so forth than I would ever know. Air conditioning and oil furnaces, all that stuff. He was a heck of a guy for that. Just had a natural aptitude and knack for that sort of thing. You should see him do puzzles. He does a 500-piece puzzle in no time. His mind just works that way, you know. Really good at figuring out patterns and so forth. As you can see, sharpening did help. Look at the ribbons that come off of there. Especially when you're turning green wood, you should be seeing ribbons. If you're not seeing ribbons, you're either turning it wrong, you're holding your tool wrong, or you're not sharp. And often it's all three things at once. Oh, that wasn't good. Snagged. Ah, good. No damage. No damage at all. Just caught on something. So, we get her back on there. And see if we can keep it in the round. Pretty close. I think I'll try and work just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. No harm, no foul. I'll have to be a little bit more careful. I think I was pushing it a little hard. Look at all these I was getting out of that. We're almost to the bottom, so I just want to take it kind of easy here. We are about here. So we'll go very slowly. And that little bit of what you're seeing is that it's slightly not circled as much as it was on the tenon before. It's always going to be just slightly off from the previous time you put the tenon on. No matter how much you try, it's going to be slightly off. So that's what I was very carefully resurfacing that part. Okay. Around again on the inside, and they're not going to go clattering. Okay. Now let's see if I can maybe shape it with this. I don't know. You know, one way to tell if some people say, how do I know when I'm making it thin enough? You hear that? That's kind of a thud. When it starts to ring just a little bit, You hear sort of a ringing sound? That's when you know that you've actually gotten thin enough that it's now making a tone. So as long as I hear that thud, that means I've got a little bit more to take off. At least that's one way of checking, okay? I'm going to switch to my other chisel here, or my other scraper here, and see if I get a little better angle with this one. This one has a little more, just a tiny bit more aggressive, but it's also, I think at this point, a little bit sharper, and it has a little different angle to it. And I keep working away that side just a little bit more every time I come through. Just working out the bottom, but not so much the middle. I'm working out more the area between the middle and coming out to the sides. Trying to get that a little bit more flattened out. Now let's try and make that sound. Still a little bit of a thud. I'm not quite getting the singing sound. Maybe if it was off the chuck, I might get a little better sound. But I think we're a little fat right here, but we're getting down here. So we'll try and come out a little bit on the edge without making it come off the, if I can make it come out here. Okay. Did that get a little better? Yeah, that got a little better. Okay, we're getting a little better on the sides too. I don't like that arch in the bottom. I want it flatter. Okay. Yeah, I think I that got it. That got it. Okay, good. So there we are. Hey, terrific, Tom. Welcome in. Okay, I think we're just getting to the near the end of this one. And please, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button and subscribe if you feel up to it. And or grab yourself a membership if you'd like. Not a requirement or anything. I'm not going to be cutting out everybody that just want to kind of Reward the people who've been here a while. That's all. Membership's a whole 99 cents. So we did just pass the 4 million views last week on our channel. That's not bad in 9 months. 4 million views of our videos. I think little spots right here, and I think that's done. Do that with my hand a little bit. Carefully. That's better. Okay, good. We'll put some finish on this. See how it ends up. Yeah. Okay. Let me get that tried and true here. Get you in a little better position here. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to get the brush here and do those edges. Get it into that bark. And after I do this, I'm gonna soften that bark just a little bit with some sanding. I just wanted to get this on there first. But I have a special set of brushes for sanding bark. And I think you've probably seen them before if you've been here, but If you haven't, here they are. They're little nylon bristles. And what this does is this will kind of take the sharp edge off of some of that bark. It'll clean out any places where there's some dirt or anything. This will make it a little softer to the touch. It gets in all those places where a regular sandpaper would not get. It makes it a little bit less rough. And yeah, that's much softer now. It doesn't have those spikes to it. It feels much nicer to the hand. Great. I just took that little bit off without damaging the bark. I'll put this gouge away. Let's see. Now let's see if we can maybe polish that out just a little bit. All right. Let's see how that looks. Boy, it feels nice. Probably gonna have to go over this with like emery cloth after it's dried and give it another coat because there's just a little bit of tiniest bit of sprouting to it. But again, that's the nice thing about having a mitered bottom is that you can do that. So there we are. We're pretty close to that bottom. And you can see the bowl is got that nice red in it like the other one did. This one has the live edge at the top all the way around. So we managed to do one with the live edge all intact. Okay, let me get the other two here. This one was without the live edge, but with different, we made a different kind of a look to it. Okay, and then we had the oak bowl. So 3 different ways of turning a bowl with roughly the same size piece of wood. Kind of 3 different ways. Okay, so I hope that's, there we go, 3 different ways. So hopefully you guys learned a little something from that today. Hey, Trevor. Hi, terrific Tom. And the soldier still in here? Yeah, Jim, you're still in here? We should be able to get some more likes on that, but it's dwindled down to a measly 27 people watching now. So, as much as I'd like to get like 150 likes or something like that, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't want to waste your time along with mine. I've been here for about 2.5 hours at this point. But in 2.5 hours, we did 3 bowls. And I'd say between the 3, I could probably get $40 to $50. So that's $50 in 2.5 hours. That's $20 an hour, which is below minimum wage. Whee! For some places. Food workers in California at a McDonald's make more than $20 an hour now. So I make less than a McDonald's worker for doing this, but I had fun doing it, and they may or may not be having fun working at McDonald's. I don't know. So yeah, there it is. And if you guys have any other comments or questions, please throw them in here. Like I said, you can become a member if you'd like. Um, no obligation. Just put it up there as an option for people. Or you can subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. That'd be great too. And we will see you all soon again on a few days. And I'm not sure. Let me think. What are we going to turn next? We may go for one of these bigger pieces. You've seen the small cottonwood bowls. Here's a large cottonwood bowl with a pith. And I've kind of been waiting for this to dry a little bit more because at 18%, there could be a major warp factor. But you know, I might just turn this anyway. I'm going to think about this for the next couple of days. It's got a lot of really good color to it. As you can see here, got lots of colors. Got some wormholes. And we will just see what we can make out of it. Maybe we'll do a live edge top for this one. And if we do, I hope you'll be here to watch it. Okay. If you guys have anything else to say, great, put it on here. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and just say it's been a great day. And I hope you have a good Valentine's Day, most of you. Just, you don't have to have a great Valentine's Day. Just don't screw it up. Don't screw up the Valentine's Day. That's the real key. Because they will remember for a long, long time. If they say they don't want anything, don't believe it. If they say that, oh, you don't have to get me a card, get them a card. Don't take them down to the store and just show them a card and put it back on the shelf. Do the right thing. This is not the time to try and be a comedian because they will remember for a long, long time. So with that, I'm going to let you guys all go. I thank you all for being in here today, and we will talk to you all in a few days. Take care.